Hello, Northwest Arkansas. Welcome to another edition of Bird's Eye View Real Estate in Northwest Arkansas with Nick and Tara Limbird of Limbird Real Estate Group. How are you today, Tara?
Doing wonderful. How are you guys out there?
Good deal. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Bird's Eye View Real Estate in Northwest Arkansas. Today we're going to be talking about what is a support team and why is it important. But before we get started with that, tell us a little bit about Limbird Real Estate Group, and if anybody has any questions, they want to get in touch with us.
All right. Well, Limbird Real Estate Group, we're located right here in Northwest Arkansas, and we've been in business as a team for over 10 years now. I've been in the business personally for over 16 years, and we have 20 plus dedicated agents and a support team, as we're going to be talking about in a little bit, here to help our agents and our clients with their needs. And you can reach out to us, LimbirdTeam.com, go on Facebook, or even call us 855-755-SOLD.
Sold. That's
Sold.
a great word in real estate.
That's what we like.
Well, we always like to start the show off with a positive moment. So I'm going to kick it over to you. What's good going on out there?
Well, I guess
Positive.
so far it's the beginning of the year. Things are still up and running. The market is still good. The inventory levels, that part's not so great, but if you're a seller, it's great. Interest rates are still low. We are expecting
starting to creep up a little
Yeah.
bit, just a little bit. Still historic lows, so
Right.
great time to buy and a lot of buying power there.
For sure. We are seeing that
Anticipate them creeping up a little here over the next year.
Definitely, and we're thinking the last 6 months of the year we're going to see a larger influx of people wanting to sell their home who've been maybe sitting on the sidelines, and so I think that's good because a healthy market is good, and we need more inventory to help stabilize that and help it be a healthy market.
Sure,
So,
no, that's a great point, and I think as this COVID vaccine rolls out, hopefully it'll get people back to a little more normalcy with their lives.
For sure.
And maybe bring some of these new houses out there because people start thinking, hey, it's time to move.
Time to move.
I think a lot of people have been holed up or just holding off till everything settles down a little bit.
For sure, and I think, being quarantined and working from home more, I think we all have a new perspective about our house, whether that's a good perspective or not so good. But there are a lot of people who strongly believe that their new way of life may be working from home. Their corporations are maybe saying, hey, we don't necessarily need all this commercial space and this overhead. People can work from home, and therefore people are looking at their house going, I need a dedicated office. I need more space to work from home. Or my kids are now going to virtual school. They need a space. We need more room. This house was big enough when we weren't living in it 24/7,
Indeed, it definitely has changed the way people look at their house and their space. And,
Yeah, for sure.
The home office or offices for the kids doing virtual school has become a bigger and bigger ordeal
Yeah.
than it was, say, a year ago.
For sure. But anyway, before we get started on our topic on Bird's Eye View Real Estate Northwest Arkansas, of talking about that also important support team and why it's important, is we're going to play a little game.
All righty.
Okay.
Going to be, what's the game?
Well, this game we played last week called Three Things That
Okay.
Bop. So let's start with the best one. What are just three things that you love about Tara? That'd be me.
Oh, man, putting
Say
me on
no.
the spot. I
know.
didn't see this script, so this is catching me off guard. I'm talking while I'm buying some time for some incredible
Hey,
answers.
Valentine's Day is not too far away, so
There you
can
go.
start working into good graces now.
Well, I think one of the things that probably is most attractive about you is your sense of humor. I feel like we both have good sense of humor and we laugh a lot, and I think that keeps us sane.
Yeah, you have to.
It's a stressful
Especially
business, and
for sure.
you got to laugh and do that. So you said three, right? So I got to come up with two more.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Well, of course, you're a very attractive lady, and
Aw.
and both inside and out. So
That's right.
That's another thing. I also like your drive and determination. I feel like we work together well as a team because we're both very driven and have a lot of goals, and I think that's put us where we are. And so those would be my three things.
Okay. Well, it says now I'm supposed to do the three for you. Should we skip it?
Oh, whatever you think.
All right, I'll do the same. So I would agree, you as well. Good sense of humor. I think we both love to laugh, which is great. Another one is I feel like you're always very level-headed. I can tend to be emotionally charged at times, and you're really good at just sitting back.
That's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, I like that.
Emotionally charged.
Emotionally charged.
Yeah.
But you can kind of assess and sit back and review the situation and absorb and listen to everything and kind of come to a sensible conclusion, which I think is great.
I'm the yin to your yang, right?
That's right,
Or
yes.
something like that.
And I think one thing I like about you is you like to have fun, because I can tend to get wrapped up in my own world and work. And, I saw a quote from Dolly Parton the other day. Is sometimes people are so busy making a living, they forget to make a life. And I think you help balance that and make a life. So.
Sure.
Thank you
Well,
kindly.
I was just given a question and moving on to the next one.
Okay, what is it?
3 people you wish you could meet.
Oh, goodness. Is this alive or dead or what?
Oh, we'll go with either or.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I wish I could meet. Okay, Mark Cuban. He's
Okay.
one of my, I don't know if you'd say, I won't say hero, but I do admire his business savvy and in that. So
I've heard you say that before, and truth be told, I've met Mark Cuban before. And,
well, you met, not like you met him, like you had to sit down conversation with him.
well, not that deep, but
Yeah.
Definitely met him and interacted with him numerous
Right.
times. And,
Okay.
so I know you're still jealous. I can tell.
I am jealous,
Tell by
for
we
sure.
didn't meet. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Some reason I've always had this fascination with Simon Cowell too, because he's
Oh,
just
man.
he's so honest, brutally honest
And
sometimes.
direct, which I could see that with you.
Yeah.
So,
So I
okay.
think that's pretty interesting. And then the third one, for no other reason I can't think of anybody else, is I'll just say Olivia Newton-John.
All right.
So she was I loved her singing as a kid, and so why not? Let's relive childhood a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, or Dolly Parton. I said Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton seems like a cool cat too. So.
Yeah, she's still getting it done to this
That's
day.
right.
Still in the
I like
limelight.
her. How about you?
Oh man, that's tough. I'd probably say one of my maybe childhood sports heroes. I'm a big Chicago Cubs fan, so
Oh, yeah.
maybe Ryan Sandberg. I grew up kind of thinking he was the greatest,
Yeah.
and definitely a Hall of Fame baseball player. So that's probably one. I think it'd be pretty impressive to meet somebody like Abraham Lincoln, who had such an
That's cool, yeah.
influential, part in the United States and
I love how I'm
creating and
saying
evolving.
Simon Cowell, American Idol, and you're Abraham.
Well, it's the People magazine versus the not so much. But no, anyway. And third one, I kind of go back to history, and I think there's some influential people. Martin Luther King, I think, would be a great
That's a good
one.
one. And yesterday was Martin Luther King Day.
It was,
so.
and yeah, that was definitely fresh on the brain. But he was a very impactful person, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know till the other day that he was only 39 when he was assassinated.
I didn't know that either.
So it's a shame because
What an impact in such a short
yeah,
life.
he did make an impact in a short time, and man, it's a shame that we didn't get more years from him
That's
and
true.
a lot of his wisdom, because I think we can all use a little guidance there. So I
We
think
do.
that's
We
great.
need that,
So,
for sure.
Very smart guy.
All right. Well, before we get started with our main topic of the support team, we do want to give a shout out. So Harbor Closing Company is sponsoring today our team member shout out, and that's our team member of Don. Don't we love Don? Don was referred to us, and he works for us virtually from the Philippines. Isn't that crazy? So Don was referred to us. He's been great. We keep saying one day we're going to bring Don over here, and so we can actually meet him in person. But we talk to him every day on Zoom.
Oh yeah, with Zoom and the virtual thing, you feel like it's kind of the new
Yeah.
normal, and
I know.
so he's kind of even a bigger part of the team than he once was. Virtually.
I know. He's awesome. We love working with Don. So
you go.
that's for
Well,
sure.
if you're listening, Don, thanks for all the hard work you do. We appreciate you and love you.
That's right. All right. So you want to go ahead and dive in?
Oh, sure. For those just tuning in, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about a support team. We've talked before about using a team in real estate and what that really means. The biggest part of a team is the part you never see. As realtors, I have to admit, we all have egos. We like our name out there in lights, and it's all about me, me, me. That's the way it is perceived. But the biggest part of what makes an agent successful is the back end. And most agents, unfortunately, they are the back end. They're the front end, they're the back end. But with us, we do have a support team, which is hugely impactful, not for just our agents, but for our clients. So today we're going to talk about, what does that even mean? Why do I need that? How does that benefit me?
Sure, and we've talked on the show before about how real estate agents tend to wear a lot of hats, and they do
Yes,
lots of different
lots.
tasks, and people think, oh, a real estate agent, all they do is go knock signs in the yard, list houses, or go show buyers, but there's so much more that goes into that. And
Right.
so we as real estate people do tend to do a lot of different activities, and some of them we're good at, and some of them not so much.
Yeah. Well, with real estate, it encompasses so much that it's using if you go back to psychology, kind of your right and left side of your brain, which operate completely different. And to be successful in real estate, you have to be great at both, because there's the technical aspect, there's the creative aspect, and just by and large, most people are not great at both of those skills. So
sure, definitely a rare breed to check all those boxes.
for
that's
sure.
for sure.
Yeah. So, one part of our support team is the closing team. So when something goes under contract, typically it's the agent who is nursing that contract and nursing that client and helping them with their inspections and helping them with their negotiations and helping with repairs. And then it's the title work, and then it's a home warranty, and then it's the termite, and then it's this and it's that. And there's so much that is involved in that. And as an agent, a lot of times that agent is also working with other clients, and so, but they don't want, it's like juggling plates. You got all these plates up and you don't want that plate to fall, but at a certain point, one person can only do so much. And that's what's great about the closing team, is they're highly skilled, our support team, in closings, to babysit and nurse every single paragraph of that contract to help keep the client. A lot of times there's time frames for the client. You need to make sure you've done your insurance by this point. You need to make sure you've done your financing. And, let's face it, most people don't buy a house every day, do they?
Sure.
You forget things. You need someone who can help hold your hand, even if you're experienced and you've done this before. I had someone come in the other day. They said, "Oh my gosh, I love the reminders you guys send out on what I need to do," because she came in with an earnest money check, and she goes, "I know I only have so many days," and because we're monitoring that and helping to keep the contract together.
Sure, no, that's a great point, and I've done this a long time, and you hear a lot of people go, "Oh, well, you just showed me one or two houses, then you wrote an offer up and got it accepted." But
that's the easy part.
Yeah, exactly. And so much of it is getting that deal and keeping it together, because that's really when a lot of the work begins, because there's so much behind the scenes that goes on that your average person isn't aware of. There's lots of details and a lot of depth and lots of deadlines, like you mentioned. And sometimes these deadlines are super crucial that can make or break a deal or make it fall apart. And so that's where a lot of agents tend to struggle a little bit, because they're trying to juggle still working with clients, showing other buyers potentially, like you mentioned, and keeping all these crucial and critical details together where they can get it to the finish line so that you can finish that transaction.
Well, most realtors, because we are salespeople, that means we're people. We like to be around people, which typically means that we're not as great at the details and keeping things perfectly in order and crossing T's and dotting I's. And that's where our closing team, that's their skill level. That's what their God-given talent, and they're great at it. I'm a big Seinfeld fan, and it kind of reminds me, there's a Seinfeld episode where he goes, and I think it's at the airport. They were supposed to have a rental car for him. And the lady, he gets there, she goes, "Oh, well, we took your reservation, but we're out of cars." He's like, "What do you mean? That's the whole point. Anybody can just take a reservation, but it's the keeping the reservation that matters." Kind of the same thing. Anybody can write offers to get offers accepted. It's the keeping and holding together of the offer that's super important.
Very true, very true. I've seen several people I've worked with over the years go, "Hey, you showed me one or two houses, and you made all this money, and like it was so easy. Maybe you should."
Had no. If it was easy, that means you really did a great job, because you made it look easy.
And like I said, I'm told a lot of them, I go, "Man, we just got the deal under contract. We've got a long way to go before."
I know.
I said, "Let's talk about this at the closing table or after that and celebrate from there." But that's, like you mentioned, there's a lot of work that has to be done. And that's where the general public, because they're not doing transactions on a regular basis, don't realize the detail. One of the things that we see a lot is for sale by owners. They go, "Oh, this is really easy." And I can't tell you how many times deals have blown up, or somebody doesn't have representation, and you ask them about their experience later, and it was, "Well, did you get repairs done, or did you do this or that?" And they're going, "No." And I'm going, "Well, why would you not do that?" And so it's amazing, and that's really where a professional can come in, and any real estate person that's helping you, that's an agent, should bring value to the table, and they should be worth everything that they're getting paid, and then some if they're doing a really good job.
I always think of a real estate transaction like taking off on an airplane. And there's going to be, more than likely, somewhere along the way, a little bit of turbulence. Just a little bit. Sometimes there's a lot, but usually just a little bit. But you got to a safe landing, and that's our job. We're going to get you up in the air. there might be a little turbulence along the way, but it's our job to guide you through it and help you to a safe,
Sure, that's a
smooth
great
landing.
analogy. Well, let's move on to the next topic
Yeah.
of with the team. One of the things that everybody thinks with real estate is marketing. Marketing
yeah.
is such a huge topic.
Huge.
You know, when you list homes, it's about getting exposure and maximizing that exposure. And that's where a lot of single agents or even smaller teams, or for that matter, even larger teams, don't do necessarily a great job, because whenever you're listing a home, you want to maximize that exposure. Put it out to as many avenues as you can. And when you're an agent, once again, you're wearing all these hats of showing buyers, going on appointments, this and that, doing the back end with the closing like we touched on. And then you got to focus on the marketing. And a lot of
Right.
times if it's not done properly or done to the level that it needs, a lot of times that can affect the sale of a home. And in a lot of cases, the value that that home may get when it does get an offer, because it wasn't properly done up front.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. When people use the word marketing, it just sounds like, oh, marketing. Like that's one thing. But marketing is so many things. So sometimes I'll meet someone like, oh, I love marketing. I do a lot of marketing. What kind of marketing do you do? Well, I do stuff on Facebook. Well, that's great. We need social media. But first of all, social media, I know people who know a lot about Facebook marketing, but don't know anything about Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. And that's one aspect of it. Then you have
Sure,
the
that's just one
SEO
pillar.
and
Yeah.
the website and the back end and this. I mean, they're marketing, and that's what's great with us too. Again, is that one hat of marketing is huge. So now we've broken that marketing down. We have a videographer, we have a photographer, we have someone who specializes in the website and the SEO and all the pay-per-clicks and all the stuff that you have to do when it comes to
Well,
marketing.
and you get back to the good old-fashioned content creation, and
Oh, yeah,
a
graphic
lot of-
design,
A lot
yeah.
of people that I see are not real clever. They may be clever a few times, and other times they fall short. And so that's one of the things that kind of sets us apart is we have a full marketing
Full
department,
marketing,
and
yes.
very few agents or teams out there can say that, and some of them are going to say that they do, but it's going to be somebody that may do closings when they're not busy. They jump into marketing, and we have people that are specifically dedicated to marketing real estate, and that's
Which
why.
again, marketing's a different side of your brain too. Like
Sure.
so if you're doing closings and you're good at closings, and you're probably not great at marketing. And if you're good at marketing, you're probably not that good at closings.
Sure, and that's one thing that I think sets our team apart and why it's so important is everybody, even getting back to the closing side of things, that's specifically what they do. That's their specialty. They're an expert. We did over 600 transactions last year, residential transactions. They know what they're doing. They're not getting practice or learning on the job.
That's
They've been at
true.
this for years. I mean, both of our closing coordinators have been with us for well over a year plus. The newest one a year plus. The other one's what, 3-4 years?
Yeah, and been doing it a long time before.
So,
us.
you know, you do 500-600 transactions, you know, that's over 2,000 plus transactions that particular person has experience-wise.
that's
And
true.
go out there and find me any other team out there that somebody's doing that many transactions has as much experience. You're not going to find that here in Northwest Arkansas.
No, for sure. You know, the other aspect of a support team is the sales team, which you may think as a client, like, how does that help me? But as you mentioned, if you're listing a home, you know, when the marketing department is doing their job and driving traffic to look at someone's house, it means nothing if no one's following up with these people.
Sure.
So if I have my house listed and someone raised their hand and go, hey, I maybe have a question, I want to make sure whoever's working for me is calling that person back and getting them into my house, and hopefully they like it.
No, that's a great point, and I can't tell you, and I'm kind of embarrassed to even admit this, but I can't tell you how many times, you know, people go, I called realtors on this sign or that sign, and nobody's called me back for
Yeah.
2 or 3 days, and you know, I didn't call one realtor, I've called 4 or 5, and part of it is, you know, it's tough. Like we get back to the wearing the hats thing. A lot of times they're out with another client showing properties all day, or maybe they're on multiple listing appointments or something like that, and they can't necessarily take that call at that time, and then they get overwhelmed and bogged down. But that's where having a team is nice, because you've got some support where if that situation is in play, you have the opportunity to have somebody step in and follow up to make sure that we're taking care of that client, getting them those answers. Because the likelihood is that you just need one person to buy your house, and that
Right.
may be that one. And if we don't do a good job of that, we failed our client.
Exactly. No, so that's huge. And you know, we talk a lot about, we make sure that the person who's in that seat is the best at what they do. And you know, number one, we're determining that by their resume and the kind of experience that they have. But number two is everyone that's on our team, everyone from our highest level to a brand new agent, they're taking a personality assessment for our team, and we really get down to the root of who are they truly at their core. What are their natural God-given talents? What motivates them to get out of bed in the morning?
What motivates them?
Yeah, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that every person is the right person in the right seat on the bus, and that they're doing their job at the highest level.
Now, that's a great point. There's, I think, over 3,000 agents in Northwest Arkansas.
A lot.
And there's a lot of people that are just kind of doing real estate to see how it goes. And that's where the professional side comes in. If you find that right professional who's got the back end support, it's usually a very good experience. And like I said, we've had our team up and running, and that's been kind of our model, to find really good people and support them. And it seems to be a great experience. You know, look at our reviews on, Google and social media and other avenues there, and we have a great track record. But we believe in taking care of those clients and doing things the right way. But one thing we haven't touched on is, we've mentioned listings a few times while we're talking, but that's a crucial element too.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit more about what your thoughts are on that.
Listings does kind of go hand in hand with the marketing department, but on the listing side is everything from making sure that the way you're represented online, your digital footprint, that everything about your house is the best that it possibly can be. I always say the first impression of your home is no longer when a client hits the front doorstep. It's when they see you online. So our listing department is gearing up from the moment you say, I want to sell my house. They're working on our Coming Soon program to make sure that when you're ready and you want to hit the Staples That Was Easy button, that we're ready to go live, and they're making sure on every website that everything looks the way it's supposed to. And that as people inquire, we talked about this a second ago, but we actually have a lead manager who, even though we're on top of everything, is just making sure nothing falls through the cracks.
Yeah, it's kind of that parachute or safety protocol.
Yes, because there's always someone that, hey, you call, like you said, you're out in the field, you're answering the phone, but now you got to follow back up because they needed some more information. We're making sure that nothing falls through the cracks.
Sure. Now, that's a great point. And one other thing, we were kind of getting close to the back end of the show here. But one thing, too, that's really important is photography. We do have a photographer on staff as well, and professional photography is huge. I find so many agents don't want to spend the money on that, or a lot of times, iPhones or some of these nice phones today have great quality, and a lot of agents are taking pictures with their phone, and that's just not quite it. There needs to be some real professional there, because like you said, that's your first impression is pictures, and if you don't catch them, you're setting the table for
and you're right.
Not a good experience.
And even though iPhones have take good pictures, our in-house photographer, what I'm most impressed with is that I learned a long time ago. It's not the pictures you're taking. It's when you go download them on your computer, and it's the editing process. He spends more time editing photos than actually driving to someone's house, taking the pictures, uploading them. The editing is what's so crucial, because it's just maximizing that picture so we can put our best foot forward for our clients.
Absolutely. Well, and we're going to need to kind of wrap up because we're getting on the back end of the show. But for those of you guys just tuning in, Nick and Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, Bird's Eye View, Real Estate in NWA. We do have an audience question from Beckham from Rogers.
You know what? Let's do a teaser, Nick. Let's save that for next time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I do want to be able to mention next week, we're going to talk about how real estate changed our life for the better.
Okay. And Beckham, we'll get to your question next week.
That's right. We promised to get to Beckham's question. But thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions about a support team or how that could benefit you or what that means to you, we'd be happy to entertain any questions. But go to our website, limbirdteam.com, or reach out to us, 855-755-SOLD. And be sure and stay tuned next week, how real estate changed our lives for the better. So this is Nick and Tara Limbird, Bird's Eye View.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.